Hello Andy.
Hello Terence.
What we've got here is a person who's come to us for help and explained the difficulty that's affecting her. So what I'd like you to do with your guide, first of all, is explain to me, for the benefit of the camera, for the benefit of teaching others, the process that you go through from the beginning, asking for protection and help and so on. So that process that you use automatically as routine, just talk me through it if you can.
Okay, yeah, no problem. So for me, the start of the process always really is, first of all, to clear my own space, and then to clear myself energetically, so that I know that I've got no external influence or external attachments connected to me or the space that I work in. So the first thing I tend to do is make sure that I'm grounded to the planet. So I visualise a grounding process that involves seeing roots effectively leave the bottoms of my feet, and they go down into the centre of the planet and connect, and then from the centre of the planet I visualise a gold light that comes up through those roots, and I kind of sit that at the bottom of my feet, so it's sat there waiting almost. So that gives me a grounding connection, and at that point I actually feel, sometimes I feel like a tugging sensation, so that I know that my etheric body has now been grounded, which is good. And then I basically go through a series of chakra opening procedures that start with my heart chakra. So I visualise a golden light that comes out of my heart chakra, that then runs down to my solar plex chakra and through my sacral chakra. So I visualise a light that comes out of each of those chakras, front to back of my whole being. And then I normally push that up higher, up to the top of my chest, and then see that golden light run down my arms and emanate from the ends of my fingers. It's almost like a big light's been turned on inside my body really, and this light gets brighter, and then I push it further up to the tops of up through my throat if you like, and out the throat chakra, up to my third eye, and then back of my head chakra, and then further from my crown chakra, at which point I connect to a golden light I see above me that is universal consciousness. So I'm not really connected to anything at this point. I haven't asked for any external protection from any other entity. I'm just connecting to what I perceive to be a positive consciousness that exists around everybody. And at that point I normally feel relaxed, and I know the feeling now because I do it so often, and that happens for me in sort of a couple of seconds, so I don't really take any time anymore to do that. But when I first started to do this, it would sort of take 10 to 15 minutes, and I'd feel like I got it wrong, and I'd do it again, and I go through the process. But I've got to the point now that I can do all of that in the course of a couple of seconds in my mind. At that point then I normally question myself, so I provide or ask my etheric self 3 times, am I sovereign? So I say to myself, am I sovereign? And I get an answer back from what I consider to be my higher consciousness, as a yes or no. The answer clearly should be yes. So I say, am I sovereign? Yes. Am I sovereign? Yes. Am I sovereign? Yes. And after the third yes, I know there's nothing external connected to me, and there's nothing external in the area that I'm working that is going to provide any type of negative influence, basically. So at that point I then visualise a golden bubble of light with a door. I change the visualizations to make it more interesting as and when I do these things, but normally visualise a door that opens and I climb in, the door shuts behind me, and I kind of see myself in this protected space. And from that point then I feel confident that I can connect to anything negative, and that negative entity or energy isn't going to have any influence on me. Because in the past when I used to do this, there would be points that either I hadn't done it properly or I'd left myself open slightly, and there would be I'd feel physical pains or get entities that would attack me psychically that would be quite difficult. And of course when that starts to happen to you, it's very difficult to be or you become non-complacent about making sure your protection is engaged in the right way, basically. So psychic attack is for me a real thing, and it happens a lot of the time when I'm out places, so I tend to make sure that my own protection is my foremost thing that I do on a daily basis. Even if I'm not working spiritually with clients, in the shower I go through that routine and make sure my protection's in place.
So, if I understand you correctly, what you've just described is more or less a ritual, a procedure where you ground yourself to the earth, you connect with a higher consciousness, higher light, higher energy. So you're connected from above and from below. You're in the middle. You're opening your chakras, yeah. And you're stepping into golden white light for protection, right? So you're visualizing, and you can actually experience some physical sensations as you're going through this.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Terence, really.
Right.
So I'm not really connecting to any named thing. So some people say they're connecting to God, or they're connecting to spirit, or they're connecting to whatever happens to be. For me personally, this procedure works for me in that I connect to me. It connects me to myself.
So you're not saying any prayers as such. You're not praying to a god, or this is not a religious ritual.
No, so
Okay.
Absolutely not. So I don't have any religious persuasion one way or another, really.
Right.
I don't have a problem with religion per se, but the way that I work, I see myself as a physical person that's here on the planet, but obviously I understand there's a spiritual part of me, and the spiritual part of me needs to be connected to the physical part for me to function and to work the way that I do.
Okay. So you've gone through the protection process. What happens next?
So once I'm protected, I feel confident that I'm happy to then basically work in that spiritual arena. So the same way that a diver will put on a diving suit before he gets into the water and check that he can breathe and his oxygen's working, that's sort of the analogy as to where I am, really. So once I've done that, I then enter the spiritual realm etherically, if you like.
Well, let me stop you there. I'm going to end this particular section of the recording, right? So that when you actually go through the process of connecting, we'll start a new recording.
Yeah, okay, that's
Okay.
good.